a little physical. And in last year, I think something we noticed, and I think a lot of people noticed, is when Caitlin would get bullied, nobody would do nothing.
That's right.
Nobody would do nothing.
Sophie Cunningham has finally addressed the heated situation that unfolded during the Indiana Fever's recent game against the Connecticut Sun, and her stance couldn't be more firm. Speaking publicly for the first time since her ejection, Cunningham made it clear that she has no regrets about her actions on the court that night.
You know what? I'm just going to be me.
Her main message was simple. When it comes to protecting her teammates, especially a player like Caitlin Clark, she won't hesitate to step up. Cunningham's response wasn't just about defending one player. It was about standing up for a team culture, sending a message to the league, and calling out the ongoing lack of protection for one of the WNBA's brightest stars. Her comments made headlines, sparked viral debates across sports platforms, and cemented her status as a new fan favorite, all within hours of the incident. For those who missed the game, tensions had been brewing from the start, but everything came to a head in the Fever's 88-71 victory over the Sun. During the third quarter, J.C. Sheldon made contact with Clark's face, catching her directly in the eye, which could have easily caused a serious injury. That moment alone raised concerns among viewers, but what followed escalated the situation dramatically. Marina Mabrey, seemingly frustrated and aggressive, shoved Clark from behind with force, knocking her to the floor. Fans watching at home and in the arena were stunned, not only by the physicality, but by the referee's passive response. Despite the dangerous nature of both plays, the officials opted to hand out technical fouls, treating the incidents like minor infractions rather than serious violations of player safety. It was in that moment the frustration of many reached a boiling point. But Sophie Cunningham wasn't about to watch her teammate endure more of the same treatment without consequences. With less than a minute left in the game, J.C. Sheldon had a clear fast break opportunity, and Cunningham seized the moment to make a statement. She wrapped Sheldon up mid-play and brought her down forcefully. There was no hesitation, no uncertainty, only calculated determination to send a message that the Fever would not tolerate cheap shots toward their star player. The crowd's reaction was immediate and overwhelming. Fans chanted her name, Sophie, Sophie, filling the arena with energy. By the next morning, Cunningham's jerseys were completely sold out online, marking her overnight rise from role player to one of the most talked about figures in the league. Social media lit up with praise, nicknaming her Clark's bodyguard and applauding her for doing what many believed needed to happen weeks ago. During her post-game interview, Cunningham laid out her perspective with composure and honesty. She explained that she wasn't focused on drama, revenge, or theatrics. Her priority was doing her job, which includes executing plays, scoring when needed, and protecting teammates when the officials failed to do so. I'm locked in during games. My responsibility is to stay sharp, hit shots, and follow the game plan, she stated. But when the referees don't step in to protect players, especially the top players in the league, someone has to, and I'll always take care of my teammates. Her words carried weight because they reflected what many have noticed throughout Clark's rookie season: a glaring inconsistency in officiating and a pattern of physical targeting that goes unchecked. Cunningham didn't stop there. She pulled back the curtain on a larger issue that has been building within the league for years. Her comments about this being a build-up for a couple of years weren't limited to recent games. She was pointing to a history of players like Clark being subjected to overly aggressive, dangerous play without adequate response from officials. This wasn't an isolated incident, but part of a trend that's been allowed to fester, stretching back to Clark's college days and now carrying over into her professional career. Cunningham's frustration reflects a broader concern across the basketball world. Why are the league's biggest names being left vulnerable to injury, targeted with cheap shots, and subjected to behavior that diminishes the integrity of the game? Her interview gave those concerns a voice. The reaction from the public was nothing short of explosive, both in support of Cunningham and in criticism of how the league has handled these situations. In a matter of hours, Cunningham's social media presence skyrocketed. Her TikTok following surged from under 400,000 to over 1.2 million, and her Instagram gained hundreds of thousands of new followers. Fever merchandise became one of the hottest items in sports retail, with Cunningham's jerseys leading the charge. The Fever and Pacers official stores even had to limit online orders due to overwhelming demand, with reports emerging of thousands of purchases flooding the system each night. It wasn't just Indiana fans reacting. The entire sports community seemed to rally around Cunningham, seeing her as both a protector of her teammate and someone who stood up against what many felt was unfair treatment of Clark. Even Caitlin Clark herself weighed in on the situation, offering to cover any fines Cunningham faced as a result of the ejection. That gesture speaks volumes about how the team and its star player feel about Cunningham's actions. They appreciated her stepping up. Fans have echoed those sentiments, flooding social media with praise and gratitude. They weren't seeing Cunningham as reckless or out of line. They viewed her as doing what was necessary to defend the team, protect the league's biggest star, and remind opponents that aggressive behavior will no longer be tolerated without pushback. For many, Cunningham's actions were a turning point, signaling a shift in how the Fever, and perhaps the WNBA as a whole, will respond to excessive physical play. Of course, not everyone agreed with Cunningham's approach. Opposing coaches and players criticized the play, with some calling it unnecessary, disrespectful, or even dirty. The Connecticut Sun's head coach described the foul as stupid, suggesting Cunningham crossed the line. But Cunningham was unfazed by the criticism. In her interview, she made it clear that her actions were intentional, calculated, and rooted in loyalty to her team. "Look, if other teams want to go after our star, they better be ready for consequences," she said. "The referees aren't going to protect her, so we will." Her confidence, combined with her refusal to issue a forced apology, only fueled her growing popularity among fans who appreciate authenticity and loyalty in professional sports. It's important to note that Cunningham is no stranger to playing the enforcer role. Throughout her career, she's been known for her toughness, her willingness to speak up, and her ability to protect teammates when necessary. This wasn't some out-of-character moment fueled by emotion. This was Cunningham embracing the leadership role she's built over time. "I'm a team player. That's who I am, always have been," she explained. "Every successful team needs that person, the one willing to take a technical foul, absorb the criticism, and ensure opponents think twice before taking cheap shots." NBA legends like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Steph Curry all had teammates who filled that role. Yet, when Cunningham does it in the WNBA, some act surprised or outraged, revealing an ongoing double standard within the sport. Cunningham's decision to act late in the game wasn't random. It was a strategic move made when the outcome was already decided, ensuring her message was sent without risking the Fever's victory. Sheldon's fast break with the clock winding down when the Fever had the win secured was the perfect moment to remind opponents that disrespectful play will be met with consequences. By choosing that timing, Cunningham avoided escalating the situation earlier in the game, allowing the Fever to stay focused on winning before addressing the unsportsmanlike behavior. Her calculated approach demonstrated both leadership and discipline, qualities that any successful team needs, especially one as young and high-profile as the Fever. Beyond the physical incident, Cunningham also highlighted the importance of team chemistry, which has been building behind the scenes. She sees herself as the glue that holds together a unique roster made up of seasoned veterans and promising young talent. "We've got some older players, some rookies just starting out, and I'm right there in the middle," Cunningham explained. "It's about keeping everyone connected, making sure the vibe is right, and reminding each other to stay grounded." That connection and unity, according to Cunningham, is key to getting through the ups and downs of a demanding season. She emphasized that despite the challenges, they are fortunate to play the sport they love professionally, a reminder that perspective and gratitude keep the team resilient. True team chemistry goes beyond talent on paper. It's built on trust, accountability, and knowing that your teammates have your back when the game gets tough. Cunningham's willingness to stand up for Clark reinforced that bond within the Fever locker room. Her interview made it clear that her actions weren't just about defending one player. They were about sending a message to the entire league that the Fever play as a unit. They win together, they grind through tough moments together, and when necessary, they protect each other, even if it means drawing criticism or risking personal penalties. Cunningham also addressed a glaring issue that often gets overlooked in discussions around women's sports: the double standard in how physicality is perceived and policed. In the men's game, Retaliation for dangerous plays is not only expected but often celebrated as toughness and leadership. However, when women respond in kind, critics are quick to label it as unsportsmanlike or inappropriate. Cunningham's stance challenges that outdated narrative. She made it clear that women's basketball deserves the same level of respect, protection, and competitive intensity as the men's game. If the officials won't enforce fairness, players like her will take that responsibility seriously. The broader issue Cunningham called out extends beyond just one team or one incident. It reflects systemic problems with how star players, particularly Clark, have been treated throughout her career. Repeated targeting, excessive physicality, and inconsistent officiating undermine not only the safety of the players, but also the league's reputation. Sponsors, casual fans, and media coverage all suffer when the focus shifts from showcasing talent to highlighting injuries, fouls, and fights. Cunningham understands the bigger picture. Protecting players like Clark isn't just about defending teammates. It's about safeguarding the future of the WNBA itself. While the league opted to issue fines rather than suspensions following the incident, the decision sparked debate about whether officials and league leadership are doing enough to address the underlying problems. Cunningham's interview, coming at exactly the right time, reignited that conversation. She used her platform to draw attention to the inconsistencies and call for accountability from everyone involved, including referees, league officials, and opposing teams. Her actions and her words made it clear. Ignoring these problems isn't an option anymore, and players are ready to take matters into their own hands if necessary. Ultimately, Cunningham's unwavering stance in her interview reflected the type of leadership that every team needs, but few players are willing to embody. She knows that her role as an enforcer might draw criticism. She knows that opposing teams, coaches, and even parts of the media will label her aggressive, dirty, or reckless. But Cunningham doesn't seem to care about public perception. Her priority is winning games, protecting her teammates, and building a team culture grounded in unity and accountability. Her response to the controversy proved that leadership isn't about empty speeches or forced apologies. It's about actions, loyalty, and standing firm when it matters most. In conclusion, Cunningham's bold defense of Caitlin Clark wasn't just a reaction to one game. It was a calculated move rooted in years of watching a star player face unnecessary physical targeting with little protection from officials. Her interview exposed a pattern, challenged double standards, and set a new tone for how the Fever, and potentially the WNBA, will respond moving forward. Fans have embraced her authenticity, her toughness, and her refusal to play politics. If standing up for a teammate makes her the bad guy, then so be it. Cunningham is ready to play that role for the good of the team and the league. What's your opinion? Did Sophie Cunningham do the right thing by standing up for Clark? Or do you think she crossed a line? Let me know your take.